Hello, this is Captain Joel, and welcome to my latest Marvel Puzzle Quest video. In this video, we are going to be discussing the 4-star character Moon Knight, Mark Spector. He's become pretty popular lately in the comic world. He is quite a unique character. His background is somewhat confusing. Either he is crazy and has multiple personality disorder of some sort, or he actually has some sort of communication with a moon god of vengeance and goes around beating people up and potentially killing them. So it's not really clear exactly what it is in the comics. It leans more towards him just being crazy, but it's not entirely clear if that's the case. So this is his comic book cover. This is from a more recent run in 2014. This run was a bit different than his other ones. It seems like each time he's written, they really portray him very differently. So in this one, he's left for dead in an ancient Egyptian tomb. Mercenary Mark Spector crawled to the shrine to Khonshu, god of the moon. Believing that Khonshu imbued him with a new life, he arose from the dead and exacted revenge on his attackers. Assuming the persona of Moon Knight, Spector returned to New York and began a war on crime that pushes his body and mind to their breaking point. So I actually like this artwork. It's pretty cool. I like this costume. It's a lot cooler than his pure white one, although his muscles aren't quite as big in this one, although that one was a bit ridiculous. So he's got just under 14,000 health at max level, and he's a black, purple, green character. So let's talk about his black skill, Fist of Khonshu. So this costs 9 black AP. So the description is, the spirit of Khonshu drives Moon Knight's thirst for vengeance, pushing Spector to his breaking point but keeping him in the fight. So at 3 covers, he's dealing 3,392 damage to the enemy and creates 2 strength 90 black enemy attack tiles. If the damage downs an enemy, restores 1984 health to Moon Knight instead. So instead of creating black enemy attack tiles, you're healing if you kill an enemy with this attack. So for 9 AP, that damage is pretty much worthless. The health is nice, it can help you make Moon Knight last longer, but at 3 covers it's really not doing much. At 4 covers, he's not going to create as many black enemy strike tiles, and he deals a little bit more damage, but still not enough to justify the cost quite. Once you get to 5 covers, he's now dealing a respectable amount of damage. Now, it's still not top tier damage, but the fact that he's healing at the same time makes this a very useful skill. So I think that the Fist of Khonshu is definitely a 5 for Moon Knight. Now his purple power is Lunacy. This is a very unpredictable skill. Essentially, at the beginning of the match, this Lunacy skill is going to become one of 3 different skills. So as the description says, Moon Knight's psyche has cracked and he no longer knows who he really is. At the start of a battle, this power becomes one of 3 random powers. So the first power is, when you match black, you create an attack tile. When you match purple, you deal extra damage, kind of like Black Widow. Or when you match green, create a strike tile. So this is completely random, so you can't rely on this. Now the black one, the attack tile is pretty weak. We're talking like 100 or so, even at level 5 at 5 covers. The purple, it deals almost no extra damage at 3 covers, and it deals a good amount of extra damage at 5 covers. And if you match strike tile, again, we're talking like 100 something, 160 or so, even at 5 covers. So his purple power is both unpredictable and not necessarily that good. I think the only time you would want this at 5 covers is if there was some way to guarantee you got this purple dealing extra damage, because that is a lot of extra damage for a purple match. But still, and it is a passive, but still it's not that impressive. I found this skill to be the least useful. Lastly, you have his green move. This one's a bit expensive. It's 12 AP. It's called Moon Silver Blaze. Moon Knight flings a handful of razor-sharp crescent blades at his enemies, combining deadly precision with wild abandon. At 5 covers, you're dealing just under 13,000 damage to a random enemy. At only 3 covers, it's only 5,500. It's 8,000 at 4 covers. So I think that really, in order to, the damage is huge, although and a single target, but it's also random. So I think that you really need to go in 5 in this, because while both purple and green are somewhat random, at least with green you have a bit more control over when you use it. But overall, I think that Moon Knight is better off with a 5-3-5 setup. Now, is he a good character? I think that if he's not boosted, his unpredictability makes him not that good. His health is also not particularly high. It's about mid-range, lower mid-range in the 4-star world. So he doesn't really do anything special. He basically has quite a few offensive moves, but he's just so random. I would not want to make him a part of any real team. When he's boosted, however, he's going to be dealing a huge amount of damage for his black move, and he'll be healing a lot if he finishes an enemy off with it, which will be much easier if he's boosted and dealing double the damage. So, and his green is also going to be dealing a huge amount of damage. So I think he's definitely a mid-tier 4-star, towards the lower end. When boosted, he actually does become a lot more useful because of the scaling on his moves, since they're almost all attack moves. So I think he is a decent character, but I would never actually use him under normal circumstances unless he's the only boosted character with those colors. As far as who would make the best teammate for Moon Knight, I think that you have a couple options. You can use Cyclops because they have a perfect rainbow, and that'll give you boosting to either Cyclops Red or Moon Knight's Black. In addition to that, you would want to bring somebody that can actually use a purple skill, and luckily there's plenty of characters with purple in the 4-star range. Generally, I would recommend bringing someone like Jean Grey if you wanted to fill that gap. Additionally, you could bring Thor, and you can have a full rainbow as well with this team, and whoever else you want for your third you can bring as well. Lastly, one of my favorite new characters is Peggy Carter. Again, a perfect rainbow with Moon Knight. With her blue damage, her slow the enemy down, Moon Knight's expensive green is no longer quite so scary. You can be dishing out tons of damage with Moon Knight and Peggy Carter, and whoever you pick as a third is sure to help out as well. I would recommend bringing somebody else that can help slow the match down or speed yourself up, such as the 3-star Iron Man or Hood, or somebody else that can just help annoy the enemy. So I think that those are the best teammates. So let's see what happens if we were to fight a much stronger enemy. Let's see how this team will do. I've added War Machine just because he's boosted for this event, and I'll help take out Howard the Duck. That was quite unfortunate. See how tough you are now, Silver Surfer. Luckily I hit Silver Surfer with that move. Still not a ton of damage. You're not so tough anymore, Wolverine. Oof. That was a lot of damage. Well, I guess Wolverine is that tough. Anyhow, now that we've all had a chance to see Moon Knight in action, I think you can see that he's not really that great. But then again, when going up against 5-star, I wouldn't expect any character to be all that great. Man, Old Man Logan's way too strong. Luckily I was able to beat him with my quack fruit. So that's pretty much all there is to Moon Knight. I would not recommend bringing him on most teams. I think he is only good when he's boosted, and he's just too random to consistently use in the game. But his damage numbers are quite high, so it's definitely worth considering bringing him when he is boosted. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and like, and stay tuned for more videos.